In this section, we will go through the language skills section in the Fulbright application. So actually, this section has two parts, the language skills and then the standardized test scores. In this part, you have to choose your native language of your country. So I'm from Egypt, so I will choose Arabic. And here you have to provide your, in your opinion, your English level. So in reading, writing, and speaking. So in reading, I will say advanced or native. So I will just say native as an example. Writing, native. Intermediate in the speaking, intermediate here in writing. So just as I'm just giving an example. And in some people who are going to study in English for sure, but if you are going to study something related to international languages and you will study in the US not only in English, but you need also other languages that you need to use, or people who study a specific language in Africa and you will do your master's in the US, you just need to provide if you have other languages that you will use during your study. So let's say you are going to study the Francophone history, which is like a field in the US you can get a master degree in. And if you will use French in addition to the English, you need to provide that you will use French language and your level in reading, writing, and speaking so that they would know. And as I go to save and continue, we will go to the next section, which is related to the exams. So as a Fulbright applicant, you need to provide exams of English to prove that your English level is very good enough to be in an American institution and to be in American classroom. As you can know from the regulation of the program, you need to check the regulation and the announcement of your country, because as I said, there would be some variations in the preliminary requirements. Some countries will ask you to take the local TOEFL. Another country will ask you to take the TOEFL IPT, which is the international one. Other countries will accept the IELTS exam, etc. So make sure that you really abide by the regulations of your home country. So here you can choose the exam. As you can see here, ACT, that's a high school exam of English. Some countries, they accept Duolingo English exam as well. IELTS, TOEFL, MCAT, LSAT, these are kind of English exams. But I want to give you also a note about the GRE and GMAT. These scores would never be required as a preliminary selection process, except in some countries they require it before you apply. But most of the countries, the majority of the countries, you need to take GMAT or the GRE exam if you get accepted into the interview stage. So the first stage, you will just need to upload your English score or English exam. And then if you get accepted in the application process, you will have to pass through an interview. And then if you get accepted in the interview, they will send you a voucher so that you can take the GRE or the GMAT exam. What is the difference between GMAT and GRE? GMAT is only for students who are going to apply to an MBA program, but for the rest of the majors, you will be required to get the GRE exam. So let's take an example of the TOEFL, and then it will ask you if this TOEFL is the institutional one, ITB, or the international one, or the paper-based, or the revised paper-delivered test. As I said, these are like examples of the exams that are accepted in other countries. So for example, Egypt, they accept the IPT and the ITB only. So let's say that you have taken the IPT, then you need to provide the exam date when you have taken this exam. Actually, all exams of English are valid only for 2 years. So if I put 2013, then it means it will not be validated. But now we are 23, so maximum I have to put by 2021. So just an example, we will choose 2022, and then I will say, for example, 90, and I have to put the required scores for each section. So if I say 20, So it will be here 80. This is just an example of how you will put your standardized test score.